Okay, so I don't normally do like breaking gaming news style stuff on the channel, but that being said, I've been covering Fallout 76 pretty in depth as this kind of flaming train wreck of a game just keeps progressing and Bethesda keeps digging themselves a hole. A long time ago, I said that they were standing in a grave with a shovel digging and they could easily start filling the hole back in and just reverse that trajectory. Well, they just don't do that. They keep digging faster and harder. It seems like they've even gotten some automated tools to help them, and they just keep going. So most people are probably already familiar, if they wanted to be anyways, about the whole canvas versus nylon bag issue. I covered it on the channel myself. I did this whole dissection of the legal implications to that and how, they were guilty of false advertising. But whatever, immediately after that video, coincidentally and probably because of a bunch of unseen pressure on them, they announced that they were going to be sending out the original types of canvas bags to consumers that were affected when they submitted a support ticket, gave their information so that they could then receive that actual bag that they should have gotten from day one. Now, why they did this, I'm not really sure. I think it just has to do with legal pressure on them behind the scenes, but they made the claim originally that the bag was too expensive to be made from canvas, so they made it from nylon, but then remaking a canvas bag after the fact and reshipping it to all their customers that claim one, that's definitely more expensive than just making a canvas bag in the first place. That being said, I won't harp on this too much because the next issue is much more interesting. So let's say you're an aggrieved party and you are filling out your information and you're submitting a ticket to Bethesda support because you want to get your canvas bag, which is totally understandable. Well, your information, your credit card info, your phone number, addresses, a whole bunch of things were publicly visible because you filled out that ticket to get the bag that you originally thought you were going to receive because of their false advertising. So your personal information was leaked by Bethesda support to a large chunk of people. We don't know who accessed it. A lot of people who were in the right place at the right time had access to others' personal and confidential information because of Bethesda support, and we're not sure how far this issue is going to spread just yet. The original source for this story appears to be a user by the name of Jesse Tracy on Twitter, who said, "I am receiving other people's support tickets on my Bethesda account. I have numerous people's receipts for power armor set that includes their email and home address and the type of card used. This is not good, right? Hashtag Fallout 76. Now, Jesse Tracy is correct in assuming that that is not good, because this is by far the most damaging thing to happen regarding Fallout 76 since launch. Now, you can say that the game being in a poor state and having a bunch of bugs and glitches and the false advertising with the canvas bag are all bad, and they are, and it's led the community to have this primed response to any further news releases regarding Bethesda that have even a slightly negative light, but this is by far the most damaging thing that has happened yet. Now, it's quite obvious they did not do this on purpose. This is an honest-to-God mistake. There is no ill will. They never intended people's personal information to be publicly visible like this. However, because this was a direct response to them trying to fix the canvas versus nylon bag issue that the community was up in arms about, because this is directly correlated to that, and the users that were already affected by that, that were already feeling on edge, now have their personal details leaked. Like, it just, you can't make this stuff up. It's watching just a giant flaming wreck in real time, and every single time I think to myself, that's it, Fallout 76 is done, it's whatever, I'm moving on. Every single time I think that, somebody tags me in something on Twitter or sends me a message or shoots me a DM or a Facebook message or anything, and there's more to see, and it keeps going. I catch myself wondering how many atoms this is worth to Bethesda. When they did the canvas versus nylon thing, it was 500 atoms, and this is clearly worse, so are we going to get 1,000 atoms this time? I mean, I'm not going to get 1,000 atoms because I didn't even have the Power Armor Edition, but all those affected players out there, do they at least get $10 worth of microtransaction currency from this? Or is it not as bad in Bethesda's mind? Are they just going to give everybody 50 atoms this time? Because, who knows, maybe they have a warped sense of accountability. There was a tiny little response by a community manager named Lady Devon, I think I'm pronouncing that properly, on the Bethesda forums. It said, "Hi guys, we've resolved this issue." That's literally all it said. And I'm not going to harp on that and start attacking her or other community managers because they probably just aren't equipped to handle something like this. There's no script that they have that has predetermined wording for how to react when the customers that were aggrieved already are now getting their personal information leaked in real time, and they just don't have a script for that. But there will be a response beyond this because there are so many legal implications to a data leak of this scope, where personal information that includes home address, phone numbers, and much more damaging things, something like that, I won't even pretend to understand it, but there are complexities behind that Bethesda is now going to have to grapple with. I made a video a while ago talking about how Bethesda had probably destroyed themselves with Fallout 76 because of all the horrendous issues, and some people said that that video was premature, and maybe, honestly, it was at the time, but with the trajectory, with all these developments over and over and over, and every time you think it's over, it's not over, and it just keeps getting worse, Bethesda really has dug themselves a hole now that I don't think that they can get out of. Even when they tried to take one of those very large steps to get out of that hole by remedying the whole canvas nylon bag situation, even though it directly contradicts their previous statement that it was too expensive, but whatever. Even when they're doing something like that, another issue works its way in that's larger than the last. And at this point, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but what could possibly top all of this? Like, what's next? What is next in the future for Bethesda? You can totally call it alarmism or just sensationalism or something to have a tone like this. And I didn't script this video at all, by the way. This is just me talking. I don't normally do videos like that. I try to stay away from it because it gets me into trouble at times, but this time it just felt like the right thing to do. But imagine if you're a customer that buys a video game, and that video game, here, you don't even have to imagine it. Most of the people watching this video probably know exactly what that's like because they're in that boat. But imagine if you bought the game and you bought the Power Armor Edition and you paid so much extra because you were so excited for it, and then the game was broken and the helmet was broken in a lot of situations, but that's a whole different topic. The bag was different and it was a crappy trash bag replica that was not like what was advertised. And then on top of that, you can't get a refund for the game because the game isn't on Steam, it's on Bethesda's own platform that doesn't give you refunds. And then they give you the 500 atoms thing for the canvas versus nylon bag, and then they finally come out that they're going to fix the bag issue, which isn't even the crux of the problem, but they're going to fix that. So you submit a support ticket to get that, and then your personal information is gone. Like, can you imagine? Fallout 76 has side effects in a lot of different ways, but identity theft and personal information leakage is not a side effect that most games ever suffer from. So I cannot comprehend how they're going to deal with this one. I'm not even going to say to conclude this video that this is going to be my last, video on the topic of Fallout 76, because like I said before, every time I think that, it isn't, and I'm definitely open to keep covering this as long as Bethesda keeps giving me cannon fodder to cover, as well as all the other YouTubers out there. When these types of events are happening, you just kind of have to cover them. I mean, the amount of people that reached out and were like, did you see what happened with Fallout 76 now? It was unbelievable, and I don't know, man. Fallout 76 is going to go down in history. It already is cataloged in history as one of the worst releases of all time. One of the rockiest, one of the glitchiest, one of the bumpiest, one of the most controversial, one of the most damaging to a community's reputation. Fundamentally, one of the most broken games and launches ever that will probably ever exist, not only in the past, present, but also in the future. That's going to wrap it up for the video. If you do have feedback on this, let me know in the comments down below. And also, if you were able to see other players' information, just tell me that that was possible. I did explore this a little bit myself, and I was unable to see other players' personal information or other support tickets. So it indicates that the issue is at least partially to fully resolved already, which is fairly quickly. But then again, it still happened, and it would be good to get an indication of, how widespread this was, how many players were able to see other players' information or other support tickets, and what was contained. Don't say what it was. Don't dox anyone or anything like that. But I would be interested to hear what other players have had in terms of experience with this issue, since it is, very fresh on the mind. It just happened, and we're going to continue to see more information about it in the very near future. But yeah, that'll wrap it up. Check out the links down below if you want to support the channel. Again, I don't typically cover breaking gaming news like this. It's not something that I try to make a staple on the channel, but since I've already covered Fallout 76 so heavily, especially kind of the downsides and the developing controversy around it and dissecting a lot of the intricacies, that's what landed me with doing this at, 11:22 p.m. when I was actually going to watch a TV show and go to bed. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below your feedback. And as always, thank you for watching and have a nice night.